Om Shanti. My name is Tanya, and I'd like to share with you some insights about breathing, the body, and the soul, and how these three things can come together in such a way that they will enhance our spiritual efforts. You can also think of it as a way of guiding the body, the breath, this vital activity in the body, in such a way that it actually enhances the consciousness and supports our efforts as yogis. It can be a wonderful way to prepare for yoga, especially seated yoga, as well as a wonderful way to integrate that yoga into your practical life. And so without further ado, let's get started. So I'm going to have you make sure that you're seated comfortably, your feet flat on the floor, and your back against the back of the chair. You can rest your hands lightly on your thighs. And we'll begin by first waking up the consciousness a little bit, the awareness, by guiding it to become aware of the body and where it's making contact with, first of all, the ground through the feet. So I send my awareness to my feet, and I observe. I take that in. And as I'm observing it, I'm actually sharing my energy with that part of my body. And then I bring my awareness up to my thighs and to the backs of my thighs, where they're making contact with the seat of the chair. The buttocks muscles making contact with the seat of the chair. And again, as I observe, energy flows. And then to my back, where it's making contact with the back of the chair. And I send my awareness there. It's almost as if I'm injecting life into that part of my body. I am the one that gives life to my body, in fact. And when I show interest and attention to my body in this way, I'm actually injecting my own energy, life-giving energy into it. And then to my hands resting on my thighs. And again, the energy flowing to that part of my body. So now that we've moved the awareness around a little bit, warmed it up, let's now focus it on the movement of the breath in my body. To try and discern, what is that movement? Where is it? How does it feel? The nature of it? Does it feel very alive, vital, or sort of a bit stagnant? Often we actually are barely breathing. It's a very almost flat energy in the movement, or even barely discernible. And a lot of it will be positioned from the midribs down into the belly. Breathing into the belly is fine when we're lying down asleep. But otherwise, these muscles should actually be active and actively supporting the lower structures of my body, the lower back, the hips. And they should be doing that in such a way that it actually liberates and enhances and uplifts my spine and my ribs. And so that's what we're going to do now. See if we can make that happen and see the impact that it has on the quality of the breathing. And so I'm going to use my awareness now to guide my ribs to come more into contact with the back of the chair. And so I want to work my rib cage slowly back against the chair, almost feeling like I'm slowly rocking or rolling my rib cage up against the back of the chair. And I'll just turn sideways so you can see that. So I'm gently guiding my rib cage to come more in contact with the back of the chair. And I do it gently because I don't want to, make my body react. But now with my shoulder blades in contact with the back of the chair, I may notice that the breathing has shifted a little further upwards in my body. And I enjoy that. I appreciate it. I acknowledge it. I observe it. So now let's see if we can take that further. You're going to take your finger, your middle finger, and you're going to very lightly place it on that little hollow. Very carefully, don't poke around in there, gentle, just above the breastbone. And you're going to use the finger as if it's a straw through which you're drawing the air in. So breathing in through the bottom of the throat, has a breathy sound to it, and then exhaling out the same way. And you'll notice that the ribs respond almost immediately to that and start to move a bit more. And as the ribs start to move, as we let go of that tension that we're holding unconsciously, unknowingly, it's like the body begins to sing. And it's I, the soul, that have given the body this gift of freedom, liberation. And I receive in turn the joy in giving in something as crucial as what sustains life in my body. Enhancing that, empowering it. And my consciousness receives the return of that. Continuing that breathing, I take my hand back to my thigh and I just check in because I may have started to pull away from the chair. So I gently guide my ribs back against it. And so now let's see if we can enhance using the power of the alignment, which as I change the alignment, I change the quality of what happens in this body, the activity, including the breath. Just as when I change the alignment or the awareness of the soul, I change completely the quality of the energy that soul is generating. And so I'm going to do that by taking my awareness to my thighs where they're in contact with the chair seat and starting to gradually press those thighs into the seat of the chair. And it's going to activate muscles under there. Muscles in the upper thighs. Muscles maybe in the low abdominals, back of the pelvis perhaps. But really underneath, and it's going to start to open up the body a little bit and press it back against the chair. And then I'm going to use the power of my awareness, taking it to where my thighs and my hands are in contact, and I'm going to start to very gradually direct my thighs to start pressing up into my hands. Pressing up into my hands. And appreciating how that releases my ribs even more. It's like they're smiling. Makes me smile. And then I release that and gradually starting to press my thighs back down into the seat of the chair. Pressing. My ribcage goes back into the chair, working the muscles that support the lower body, activating that inner corset that's so essential to protect the lower back and liberate the ribcage. And then gradually reversing that again to press the thighs up towards the hands, into the hands, and feeling my pelvis shift muscles start to fire, become active in the back of the pelvis, and even my ribs seem to float slightly forward. My spine elongates. It's like the body's blossoming. And I am the one who is generating through this act of care, through these simple adjustments, realignment, bringing the body into a more ideal state, happier state. And again, last time, pressing the thighs down into the seat of the chair, feeling muscles active underneath. They need to become strong to support. And last time, pressing up into the palms of the hands, the thighs. Enjoying that wonderful blossoming of the ribs. Still drawing the breath in through the bottom of the throat there. And then, as if I want to, with my awareness, which has at this point become so refined, so concentrated and centered, which for it is a healthier state. What needs to be happening when the soul becomes soul conscious, it becomes concentrated, refined, and powerful, and vibrant, alive, light and peaceful. A very loving energy. I'm going to sustain this wonderful openness of the body as I release my thighs, feeling my ribs gently rest back into the back of the chair. But now my body's not sinking down into the chair. It's been awakened. The support muscles, the structures that are supporting the alignment are now awake. The ribs are free to remain more expanded, so they keep the body lifted. And my body feels like it's being seated in a royal way on the chair. And I, the being, seated in a royal way on the throne of my forehead. The observer seeing through the eyes. The observer that has used this extraordinary power of consciousness to guide the body into this greater state of wellness and vitality. And as I now focus on the self, on the soul, on me, I feel how the energy has shifted. How it also has moved closer to its ideal. The impact of caring for the body in this way, in this true way, has given, if you will, this gift of bringing me closer to my state of truth. And I feel that subtle light of the soul that is now more alive and present, more vibrant, filling the space of my mind, filling my drishti, flowing into the breath, which then flows to every cell in my body. And it feels as if the body and soul are now in a harmony of peaceful, elevated action. Truly a karma yogi through the breath, which now reveals all the grace, the beauty, the benevolence, the kindness of the soul that is being expressed in the breath, in that movement, so easily and naturally. And I simply enjoy it. But mostly, what I experience is a deep state of shanti, of peace within the self. As we prepare ourselves to sit in yoga, I leave you with this, if you will, description of what we have accomplished with these few exercises and the power of our consciousness. When the movements of the mind and of the breath of life are in a harmony of peace, there is a determined will. And that determined will is pure. Om Shanti.